our Facebook, whether we haven't paid our Facebook ads budget or some other reason. I'm only joking. That's an Irish joke. Come on in, everybody. Say hello to Kristel. You're very welcome to this webinar from 3XM. Kristel, we're absolutely honored to have you here. I think the first time we met in person, right, was in Scotland at a workshop. But you have been an amazing client and friend at 3XM for many, many, many years, and knocking it out of the park in the Netherlands. And I'm always confused because there's the Netherlands and sometimes people call it Holland, right? Tell me about that. Can you call it either or either, or should you only?
It doesn't matter if you say Holland, if you say Netherlands. Because we say Nederland or Holland, so it's just what you want. I always say the Netherlands and not Holland.
Okay.
So, but that's just.
So why both names? Where did that come from? I
have no clue.
Okay.
I will check it for you, but I have no idea.
So guys, you can see we've rehearsed all the questions, right, Kristel? We've rehearsed all the questions.
Yeah, we did.
So guys, I better make the chat live. Sometimes it's not live. What can we see? Show chat previews. They've changed Facebook recently, saying, or not Facebook, Zoom, sometimes saying you cannot chat. So let me see, and I turn it on. So it's on now for you all. So say hello to Kristel in the chat. Tell us where you're joining us from, and we'll get this party started. All right. So Kristel, tell us a little bit. So we know you're in the Netherlands, right? And I read on your website, right, that you went to Photo Academy, right? So tell us a little bit about that journey. So was that straight out of secondary school, or or was it in university, or how did that come about?
Yeah, it is university. I did like art school 1 year, and then in art school I got photography classes, and I was like, oh, this is magic, because I couldn't draw. My drawings were just horrendous. Nobody could tell what I was drawing. So then I was just really in love with the photography, with the lighting, with the developing, because everything was, how do you say it? Analog.
Yes. You were shooting on film.
Yeah.
No, yes. You're not old enough to be shooting on film. Go away.
Really? Yes. When I think I was 18. So yeah, that is, I am 43 now.
Oh, yes, you don't look it. You don't look it. You need to set up, create a cream, a beauty cream. Seriously. If you agree with me, guys, tell us in the chat. There's no way.
Well, there was this, so I went to this class of photography, and then I did the photography academy. I did that for 3 years, and it really blew my mind. But because it was still analog, I was just nights in my, we call it doka, but is it doka is the same? The dark room?
Oh, dark room. Yes. Yeah.
So during the night, I was in the dark room, and I had to develop and everything. And I was really done. After 3 years, I was like, I'm not going to photograph anything. I'm done. So I got a job, and then my first child was born, and I was like, I need to photograph this kid. I need to photograph him. Then it was still analog. But it was I really wanted to do this. So I started with babies, pregnancies, children. Yeah, and it was on film. So I had 12 images, 12 photos I could take of somebody. And we had like this, these little books, and 6 photos, good photos had to be in there. So yeah, that was really different, like how it is now, because now everything's digital. So you don't need, all that stuff. So yeah, that's where I started. But I started almost with my own studio. I started almost 20 years ago.
Wow, 20 years ago. Well, we'll go on that journey now in a second, right? But I want to go back a step and I want to ask you a question. So, do you think when you used to have to photograph an analog, right, on film, that it made you a better photographer?
Of course. Yeah. Because you have, I had like this Bronica that just 6x6, I think it's 6x6 centimeters. I don't know what the inch size is, but it was just 6x6 centimeters. And yeah, you had just 12 photos. I could take 12 photos. So I could take the back off and put this Polaroid so you can check the light, of course, because there was no digital. So that was really different. And you had to, before you push the button, everything needs to be perfect, because if it wasn't perfect, then just one frame was just horrible. So you have to look really good. And still from now on, I'm just a shooter that shoots what she wants. No, like, oh, this is fun. Oh, this is nice. Oh, this. I just put somebody into pose. I take 1 or 2 photos and then go to the next. And I think that's because of this analog thing that really helped me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know a lot of wedding photographers say to me, when it was analog, like, you know, they might have had 2 rows, 3 rows, and they just had to get it right, you know, that it slows people down. Yeah. And I was talking to, I can never pronounce their name right, but Herpt, the paper.
Yeah.
So I was talking to one of their senior people recently at a meeting, and she was saying that there's a lot of younger photographers now shooting with film, right? For that reason, that they feel that it makes them stop and think before they take a photograph. And then but after they shoot in film, they're not printing analog, they're digitizing the film. So
yeah, but that's just it really makes you think before you push the button.
Yes. So talk to us then. So you set up your first business 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I still can't.
I feel old.
I think you're. We were saying in Ireland that you're pulling my leg, which means you're joking with me. You know that you're. but anyway, let's pretend it was 20 years ago. I'm going to pretend it was 20.
Let's pretend.
So tell me this. So where did you start your business? Like, did you rent a studio to start, or did you work from home first, or what was that journey?
I was working from home. So it was just in my living room. And we had this, I don't know how you call it in English, but it is this light you use when there are builders, when they are just renovating your house. You have this big, horrible light that shows everything, because I didn't have any studio lights, and I really wanted to work with lights. So I used everything I could use without any professional light, because I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything. So I just did what I needed to do with what I had. But then because I was really the babies and the pregnancies, it was not taking off that quickly. But when I started, it was really new. So everybody was like, oh, because every photographer here was just doing portraits in the garden with families, and that was it. And not babies, pregnancies, all these things it was really new. So when I started that, it just took off, and it was still analog. So it was a real hustle and challenging, because it was so much work. If people were just wanted to have photos during the night, I was just in this dark room getting these photos done. I don't know if have you ever been in a dark room to develop your photos?
So I'm not a photographer, right? But I have a background.
Do you know how it works?
Oh, I do, because I have a background in lithographic printing,
Okay.
right? And when I started my career in lithographic printing, if we were creating a letterhead or a business card, it was shot on a camera with film, and then it went into the darkroom for processing. So
Yeah.
that's that. So I have a great understanding of it, from that point of view, but never developing photographs.
Yeah, but it just takes so much time, because if it's too dark or too light, or it was just so much work. But then digital came in, so I went to the Academy for Photography again for digital, and yeah, just it was really more kind of doing it, because there was no YouTube, there was no academy, really nothing that really could help me to get these steps of digital. So yeah, then the only thing I could do was just do it and try and try and try and try and try. And that's what I did. And then I went from this home studio to a big studio. Oh no, then I had another home, and I had a real nice studio space behind my house. So that was an upgrade, a little upgrade. And after 3 years from that, I went to a big studio with staff, and we were shooting like 14 shoots a week. And it was just, I didn't really like it. And people didn't value me. I didn't value myself. And when people did have a shoot with me and they picked all their stuff up, they would never hear from me again, because I was like, oh, maybe they don't like the photos, and do I like them? And I was just always doubting myself. So I would never tell anything to them or say anything to them, because I was scared that they were like, oh, she's just, look at her, and her work is just not good enough. Oh, it was horrible. But in 2017, I was so done with working the way I was working. I was just, recovering from a burnout, because it was so much work. And in 2017, I was like, nope, I need to stop this. I want to value myself. I want to value my work. And I have to increase my pricing. So I took 3 months of, I was just get everything out of the books. I was like, I'm not going to do any shoots. I want to think about what I want to do. And I really wanted to photograph adults, women, and make them feel important and special. And when I did that, I was like, this is what I want to do. And I went from 300 euros per session when they got just everything to 3,000 per session. And people were just paying it. And I was like, what is going on here? But that really changed everything in my life.
So you've told us a lot there. So I'm going to rewind a little bit. So you mentioned that people didn't value your work, but you went straight away to say they didn't value my work and I didn't value myself.
Yeah.
So talk to us about the link between the valuing your work and valuing yourself. What has to come first?
What comes first is that you don't value yourself. And because you don't value yourself, your prices are too low. And then people are just thinking, oh, I just want to do a fun shoot. And really, they don't care, because the price is so ridiculous low that you cannot pay everything out of that. That's just not possible. If you think you can shoot for 300 euros and give them everything, I really don't think that this is the way to go. And when I started to charge 3,000, just one day on the other, I was like, I'm going to charge 3,000. I just put a 0 behind my pricing. And my parents were like, my goodness, what are you going to do, Ma? Nobody will come to you. I said, well, that's fine. We'll see. And now we're doing 8 shoots a week. So it really went really well. But you have to believe in yourself. Like, this is what you can do. If you don't believe in yourself and you want to charge these prices and you don't believe it, nobody will come to you. So it's really important to believe in yourself with every vein of your body.
And Kristel, that belief in yourself, right? You mentioned that at that time too, you'd realized who you wanted to serve with your work, right? That it was women, and you wanted to let them see that they're beautiful inside and out, right? And that they're beautiful. So talk to me about that. Did that have a big role to play in valuing yourself? And what I mean by that is, did you feel that you had a purpose beyond being a photographer when you discovered that?
When you are coming from doing these shoots for 300 euros per shoot, nobody told me then, like, oh, you changed my life, you changed the way you see me. You know what? That is just not gonna happen. And if you charge 3,000, then they really think about themselves and you get the most beautiful stories. But in the beginning, I had to rely on these stories, because if they didn't tell me these stories, maybe I would just say like, oh, this is maybe not for me. And that's where I build my confidence, because of their incredible stories. So I really needed my clients to just come there, to be there. And I couldn't do it myself. Maybe I could, but I really needed my clients for that piece of confidence. Now, after all these years, I know what I'm doing, and I know what I am capable of with my team, because I'm not doing this alone anymore. But they help me and I help them. And that was so amazing.
So what I'm hearing, right? I'm trying to get the chronological order of stuff here. And maybe there is none, right? Maybe that's just the owl of me trying to connect dots and link stuff across. But did all this, like, was there a step to this process of self-confidence, to identifying the client you wanted to serve, to they giving you the amazing feedback, to the investment that client willing to make with you? Did that all happen together at once, or did it happen in steps?
No, it just I don't know. In 2017, I was so done with everything, and I just figured out what I needed to have as a woman, as a mother, as just a woman to be in business. What do I need? And if you are feeling very confident and you think you are on top of the world, you can do everything you want, just everything. There are no boundaries. You can just do whatever you want. And because of that, everything falls into this place. And I'm like, this is what I can do for other people. But you have to convince yourself every day that this is your purpose and this is what you want to do. So that's what I told myself literally every day in the mirror. I was talking to myself, looking at myself, and like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to achieve. So I set that belief in me by talking to myself every day, and look at me. Yeah.
And was it instant success for you? Or, when did you know, yes, I believe this is why I'm here. This is why I'm a photographer, because I'm going to make this difference to women's lives, right? And when did you realize that I made the right decision?
Immediately after the first shoot.
Wow.
She said, well, and then this thing I needed to grow, because I did this shoot and she came in and I had this reveal wall. So it was all printed, and I did same day printed reveals. So I did shootings in the morning, and in the afternoon we did this printed reveal. And she said, I want them all. And I was like, oh my goodness, now I have to say it's 3,000. So I was really sweating, and I was like, well, I will look it up for you what it is. And I came back, I was like, that's 3,000 euros. And she says, okay. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And I was selling, before I had this shoot, because that was my first new shoot, I told my kids, when I have a bigger sale than 1,000 euros, we're going to go out for a dinner. And they were like, yeah, we're going out for a dinner. So I called them, and they were just positive the sale would be higher than 1,000. So I called them and I said to them, well, the sale is 3,000. And they were, yeah, we want to go to McDonald's.
I thought you were going to tell us. They said, oh, okay, Mom, that means you have to bring us for 3 dinners.
No, they were so happy that they wanted to celebrate in McDonald's. So that's what we did. But from that moment, I knew that this was the place to be. Was it always easy? No. But now, when you know you have this feeling and you know that what you are doing is just the right way, then you constantly build up your confidence. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but it's just something you could learn. So you can take the learning out of it. It doesn't mean that you have to lay down and never get up again. You have to get up every time, because you will fall.
So at that stage, right, maybe we should go there first, right? So you've talked about failing. I think you're talking about failing forward, right? That you've got to accept that as part of it. So tell us a story around where that happened to you, where you did fall, like you said, and you picked yourself up and go again. Has that happened since you made this discovery of who you wanted to serve and who you wanted to photograph, i.e. women? Was there failure after that, or has it been just rock and roll?
There's always failure. Come on. I didn't put my systems up, so every time when people are emailing me, and I didn't have a CRM system, and my email is just chaotic, like I am chaotic, so that email was also chaotic. And when we are 3 days further, the email just drops, and I didn't ever call them back, or it was just not my cup of tea. But so then you will learn, because people get angry, like, you didn't send me an email, you didn't call me. Yeah, okay, yeah. So then you learn, and we are still sometimes fail, and it's fine. It's just to get everything in place, because it means you don't have all the system in place yet. So every time we drop the ball, we will say, what can we do better from this? What is the learning? And then you adjust it, and then maybe it happens again. Hopefully not, but sometimes it will happen again. And then we have to talk about the team, and it will be fine. But it's all about your energy. If your energy is high and you really want to serve clients, that's it.
So tell me this, right? You mentioned the team there, right? So when did you take on your first employee, the first team member? When was that?
Well, I hired a team also when I was in this big studio, and we did 14 shoots a week, because I couldn't do that alone. And then I had to fire all of them because there were not enough shoots. Well, there were enough shoots, but the shoots were just so low that I couldn't pay my staff anymore. So
tell us about that. So that must have been a really difficult decision, right?
That was the most, I think it was really a tough decision, because I hired my best friend and I couldn't pay her anymore. So you have to tell your friend, sorry, but I have to do it alone, because I just can't pay you anymore. And that was really difficult. But also then you learn something. now she's working again in my studio. You met her in Glasgow. So
yes.
Yeah, so after all these years, she came back, and now we just love doing what we're doing. So we are with 6 in total. Yeah, so now when everything, you know what, then I was not convinced that this was my path. So when you have to make these decisions, they're hard, but if you don't make the decisions, the outcome could be much worse. So I had to make this decision for me. And because then I was alone, I could find my own path. So a couple of years later, we are now doing it a much healthier, funny, and in a crazier way than we did. But we have so much fun doing it. But this is part of the job if you are a business owner.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I say this all the time, like I had a business that went bust out of business in 2009, and there was 40 plus people working in it at the time. Because somebody asked me recently, you know, what is your biggest learning? Because, like, you know, you've done masters and postgraduate diplomas and degrees, and you've become a story brand guide and profit first professional and all that stuff. Said, you know, where did you learn the most and what are you doing next? I said, my biggest learning was when that business went out of business in 2009. You know, that was my biggest learning. Nothing, all the other learnings I've ever done were paid into insignificance compared to that one.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But so tell me this, Kristel. You know, the whole people management, right? When you're taking on people for the first time, where did you learn those skills? Like, where did that come from?
Should I tell you something? The first time I hired, so in this studio with these pricing, I hired somebody. Well, I always had like makeup artists, but they are not on my payroll. So I pay them like, how do you say, as an entrepreneur, or I don't know how these things.
You as a subcontractor, a contractor, freelancer. Yes.
Yeah, freelancer. And so the first time I hired somebody, it was during COVID. That was the first time, like, I couldn't take all this CRM, and it was just too much for me. So I had to hire somebody. And my mom and my dad always had a bakery, and she was like always doing the people that were working for her, the employees. So I said to her, you have to sit down with me with these interviews, because I'm excited about everybody. So I said, you have to be there, and you have to tell me which one do I hire. So the first one came in, and she talked for 5 minutes, and I'm like, sorry, it's not gonna work. And my mom was like, what are you doing? I said, yeah, but this is not the energy I want in my business. So my mom was really ashamed, like, why are you telling this immediately? I said, yeah, but if I don't feel it, I don't feel it. And then she can go home, and then I have to call her, sorry, it's not gonna work. That's not how I worked. I said, sorry, I wanna be honest. So then the next came in, and that was a really good conversation. And I had another one that was a really good conversation. And the last one was also, I sent her at home also within 10 minutes, like, you have to go, this is not gonna work. So my mama and I we discussed which one would be better for me, and this was, and now last week she left me because she has a new job. So we were all in tears, like, oh, she's going to leave us, but she helped us tremendously, and she was really the mother of the studio. She was just taking care of everything. And that's what she told me when I hired her. She says, yeah, I think I have a new kid because you are just like my kids. So she was really the mother. And but then we hired another one, and every time we hire somebody, I told my team just to be with the interview. So my mom she didn't have had any interviews with me, because she said, like, you have to do it yourself, because you are horrible at this one. So every time we hire somebody, the energy has to be matching. So we are not all the same, like I am, because otherwise everybody gets crazy in here. We have also the quiet energies in here. But now we are really a team, because everybody has their voice and can say everything. So if somebody says, I didn't feel it with this girl or this lady or woman, then we're not going to do it. So it's not only me now. We do it as a team. And I think that's a big part of getting people together that really like each other.
So when you say the team, right? So how did you decide? You have to delegate once you have a team, right? So how did you decide what you were going to delegate and what you were going to continue to do yourself, as well as taking on the management role?
I love delegating. Oh my goodness, I didn't know I loved it so much, because you always think that you are the best at it, right? That you think you are doing it the best. Now I have a photographer since this year, April. And yeah, then you have to, somebody else will do the shoots for you. And in the beginning, it was like, oh, can she do this? And but I was so convinced that she has everything she needs to just be awesome, because she is awesome. And she does such a good job. But the first shoot she's doing, and you're not there because we are training her, we're still training her, but yeah, she needs to do shoots without me. And I think I was in Scotland, and they were just selling like crazy, and I was just doing nothing. No, well, not nothing, but I was just sitting there and learning. And yeah, that felt so good. And of course, it's in the beginning, it's scary. But if you have the faith in somebody and they feel that you trust them, they get wings. So they can do whatever they want, because that's also their goal. They want to have success. But you have to trust your team. You have to trust the people.
So this new amazing team member, right, who's now doing the photography, right? Often photographers are, they have their own style and way of doing things, right? How did that work out? Did this other photographer have a similar style to you, or did that not matter because it's all about the client?
It's all about the client. And of course, when I train her, look, she really loves my photos and my shoots and everything I do. So she really wanted to have this job, and she's not copying me, but the editing and everything. So the finished product is really my product. If I photographed this woman or I didn't, it doesn't matter, because the quality has to be high. Always, the quality has to be really high. But she is not me and I'm not her. But the client doesn't notice. They are just, when they feel seen and heard, that's the biggest thing. That's what makes them feel amazing. And it doesn't matter that I didn't photograph them. They really don't care. It's just all about you, that you don't trust another photographer to photograph your clients. But that's just bullshit. Really, it is. You have to get rid of yourself and don't put the focus on you, and don't give yourself too much credit. Come on, there are lots of photographers that can photograph, and if they don't care, if their skills are not that good, you have to train them. But people are not just they're coming for our energy, not for me. They're coming for our energy, what we create. And if you give yourself too much credit, you will never ever grow your business, because you will be stuck in your business because nobody else can photograph but you. So you will never grow without burnout.
All right. So you said a couple of things there, and I've heard you loud and clear. I want to deep dive into one of them, right? So you mentioned that if you continue to work in your business, right, that you won't grow, right? So you're suggesting that this means that you're spending more of your time now working on your business rather than in your business. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
So what does that look like? So if I'm a photographer and I haven't got employees yet, right? Because we hear this all the time, you need to spend more time working on your business, not in your business. What does that actually mean for you, having gone through this journey of spending more time on your business than working in your business?
Oh, well, if you are in your business, you're most of the time stuck. And if you work on your business, you are making steps to make things bigger than you. And these steps is just, you have to let go. You have to let go of, well, I think your own ego, maybe. So there is nobody like you, but there is nobody like my other photographer. She's unique. And you have to have this confidence in you that you can do this, because when clients are saying, well, I don't want to be photographed by her, I want to be photographed by me, that never ever happens. Never. That happens in your mind, that happens in your head, because I was thinking. I was like, and then people going mad because I'm not there. They don't give a shit. They really don't give a shit. They just want to have this attention and want to have this experience. So it's not about you.
So that's a hard lesson, though, for many creatives, right? That's a hard lesson for many photographers who think it is about them and about their work and stuff. And it's not, it's about the client, right?
Because they are the best, right?
Yes.
That's something you tell yourself, that you are the best. Yeah. No, that's what you think. Yeah. And if you can let that piece go, then you can achieve everything you want. You can have like 10 photographers on the payroll. That would be awesome. I have still one. So I have goals.
Let's talk about them. So, but let's just go, before we do that, before we talk about the future, let's just talk about the present, right? So you're currently located in a renovated shoe factory, right?
Yes.
A former shoe factory. Talk to us about that journey in terms of when you moved there and why you chose that location. Like why a former shoe factory?
Well, when we came here, it was how do you say it? An empty space. There were no walls. It was just a ceiling and a wooden floor, and that was it. But it had amazing windows, not isolated, so it's really cold in winters and really hot in summers. but yeah, that's part of the deal. But this space, this energy of this space is, when we came in, we were in love immediately. We are now in this studio for 10 years, and still this building is just, I don't know, it's just breathing love. It's just love all over the place and positive energy. If you come in, you will feel at home immediately. And I think that's most important. People always think, I need to have this studio space and it needs to be perfect, it needs to be modern, everything has to be perfect. Well, in here nothing is perfect, and that makes it perfect, because people will immediately say, oh, it feels like home. Yeah, it feels like home. You don't, it's the same thing, same mindset as I was telling just a couple of minutes ago. You have to let go of that. You can create it wherever you want.
So it's not in a retail environment, right? So you don't have
Yep.
people passing the, okay.
Yep.
So how do you find your clients, or how do your clients find you?
Well, now I'm almost existing 20 years with my studio. So here in the neighborhood, they know what I'm doing. We do a lot of ads. We connecting with people. So we get new clients from our past clients. Our past clients that paid 300 euros just come back and spend 5,000 now. So that's where we get clients. And just call all clients.
So you have a marketing budget, obviously, for your business.
Yeah.
Which surprises a lot of photographers too when we say you need to have a marketing budget. So you have a marketing budget.
What is the marketing budget? What's the perfect margin? I think I'm really high.
it varies, right, per business. So the stats, when they measure all businesses, a marketing budget's typically between 4% and 10% of sales.
Okay.
It goes down the more you have repeat clients, right?
Yeah.
And the more clients who refer other clients, it goes down. So here's the hard thing in business. Your marketing budget has to be a bigger percentage of sales starting out than when you're in business longer, because when you're in business longer, you have clients, if you do a great job for them, they come back over and over again. And you also get that referral, they turn into a referral marketing engine for you. So yeah, but great question. So you're interviewing me now, are you? We're switching roles.
Sorry. I just want to know. And I know you know a lot of marketing, so I think I'm going to put the question there.
Oh, good job. So the marketing does that. So talk to us then about, let's go 5 years out, right, from now. So let's fast track to September 2027, right? Mm-hmm. Where will the business be then?
Well, I don't think I will photograph them. I'm just doing all this. I outsource my photography, and I want to be in, I don't know if I want to be in this building, but we'll see where I'm at. I don't care, but I wanted to, have at least 5 to 10 photographers, and to make impacts of all these women's lives and people's lives, not only women, because they have husbands, children. I want to make such an impact. So if everybody really loves themselves like the way they should be, I don't know what it's just Dutch and English. So if everybody loves themselves like the way they should do, there will be world peace. And I really love bringing the love for themselves to the surface, and that they really, really love everything about their lives.
I love that. It's hard to make me speechless. You've just made me speechless. So tell me this. So you talked about 5 to 10 photographers, right? Do you see that as multiple locations across Europe, or are you thinking that it'll be one bigger business in one location, or have you thought through that yet?
Yep. I was thinking about that because somebody told me you have to have this other location, but my team is so amazing that I want to be in touch with my team. So there's a growth point for me. Like, do I want to have this on another location? And do I have the confidence and the trust in myself that I can do this, that I can manage this? I'm not there yet. We'll see. But I really want to not only be there for women and running my studio, but also help other photographers just to go through these boundaries that you have put yourself on, because it doesn't make sense. It's just what you tell yourself. And that's really what I love to do, is change your story as a woman, change your story as a dad, change your story, because we are all telling ourselves a story that is just not true. You tell the story because you don't want to grow or you don't want to do anything and you're feeling really comfortable. That just, it doesn't bring you any further. So change your story.
So here we're hearing something slightly different for the first time tonight or this morning, this afternoon, depending where you are in the world. And so what you're saying is that, you know, you've dedicated your business and your desire and your efforts, and your team is focused on making a difference to women, right?
Yeah.
But now you're saying that you have a desire not only to continue that and grow that, right? But you've a desire to help other photographers. Where is that desire coming from?
Well, it is, you know what? It is the same desire. It is the same what I feel for women. It's exactly the same I feel for photographers or creative entrepreneurs. I don't care. People that think that they have to do everything by themselves and they don't want to outsource anything because they are the best. And it's all about self-worth. And self-worth is the biggest thing you need as an entrepreneur or as a human, because it is in every way you really need to have this self-worth. And it's
all right.
So it is the same, but it's just a different, it's a different demographic. Is that it? Is that the word?
Yeah, it's a different demographic, but I'd love to sort of go deeper. I'm going to poke a little bit around this, right? Because you mentioned a little bit earlier about if everyone values themselves, right? And everyone is happy in themselves, that we should have world peace, right? That we should have world peace as a result of that. So is this your way of amplifying that to have a greater impact by not only doing it in your business with your team, but helping other photographers do the same thing?
Yeah, of course. Yes. Yes, that it is so important to have this self-worth in you. But if you have it in you as a photographer, you can give it to your clients. And then we just give it like to everybody. It's like this ripple effect.
All righty. I love your passion. I love your vision. I love where you're going with this. I know I do. I absolutely love it. I love, you know, that I love the way you have this whole plan worked out in your head as to what you want to do and the difference you want to make. I want to go back to the self-worth piece, right? A little bit. Because you mentioned, and by the way, guys, if anyone has a question for Kristel, because she's an amazing person, put it in the chat, will you? Put it in the chat so we can ask Kristel your questions too. But Kristel, going back to the self-worth piece, like you see a lot in the forums that you see photographers saying, oh, my client doesn't value my work, and my client doesn't value my work, and my client doesn't value my work, and my client doesn't value my work. If I had $1 or €1 or £1 for every time that was said, I'd be a multi-millionaire. So, you know, what comes first? Like, will your client ever value your work if you don't value yourself? Or,
look, if people and clients are just getting your energy. So if you don't value your work and you don't really like the client and you think they are moaning and you are in this negative energy, and nothing will work. Nothing will work. If you just are moaning on the internet that your client doesn't value you, you have to scratch behind your ears like, what am I doing wrong here? It is you. And I know it's difficult to have a look at yourself, and you have to look at what you're doing, and you have to be conscious about this. What are you saying to other people? What is your energy when somebody comes in? If it's like, oh, hi, we're going to photograph you today. Or, hi, oh, I'm so glad you're here. It makes so much difference. And if you are moaning on the internet, I am pretty sure that the whole experience is just horrible. And no, indeed, your client don't value your work because you don't value yourself. And you don't feel like it. Do you really love to photograph? No, if you don't like it, don't do it. So it is your energy. And it is my passion to really get into people's minds and make a difference about how they think about themselves. If I can make that difference, it really makes my day. I'm like, yeah, this is what we achieved today. And they are over the moon because they are like, oh my goodness, I never knew that I was so beautiful. And that changes everything in their lives. So people that don't value my work, I don't talk to them, I guess. I don't know. They never talk to me. And if, of course, sometimes I have a no sale and then I'm like, what did I do wrong? Or what do I need to do better? And most of the time I know I dropped the ball, but I never, ever tell them my clients don't value my work. I will always look in the mirror and talk to myself like, what went wrong here? What did I do wrong? And not what my client did wrong. It is always you, me.
And that's vital, isn't it? That's vital because we're too quick not to accept personal responsibility for what happens. It's not our clients' fault if something goes wrong. It's ours. It's our fault.
Yeah.
But when did you discover that though? Were you always like that, or was that a discovery along your business journey?
No, I was not always like that. When I was doing this 300 euros session, it was never my fault. It was always my client's fault. Always. But when people are investing in you and they pay lots of money, then it started to be like my fault. And I could be angry. Look, when people are saying nasty stuff, because in the beginning, when I dropped the ball more often than now, sometimes they say nasty things. And you know what? I want to be in their shoes. What would I do? Where did I drop the ball, and what can I learn from this? And if you do that, and if you are able to do this, you are so powerful. And come back to your clients and say, well, it was really my mistake. You are totally right. And people will change immediately because you take responsibility. And you have to take responsibility.
So how do you get your team to feel and act the same way?
Just to do crazy stuff. We always do crazy stuff. We dance, we laugh, I think that is the biggest thing, just to be crazy and be serious, but not too serious, because we really love to do crazy stuff. But that's the secret, to keep everything in balance, to do both things. Because when my energy is just like blocking, like it's because I can be negative as well. Everybody can. And
we all have bad days, right? We all have bad days.
Yes. Yeah. But you have to be there as a team. If somebody is there and you are like, come on, girl, and then we are just be there for each other and listen to each other. That is so powerful. But do crazy stuff. Come on, have fun. When you're working, we are not working. We're just having fun all the time in the studio. Almost all the time. There is no negativity. It's just not allowed to come in. We only want positive vibes here.
And that's vital for your clients, right? Because that's what you're doing for them. You're bringing them confidence and love for themselves and everything else. And if you're negative, that ain't going to happen.
No, and they want your energy. They want our energy. And that's what we that's what we show on Instagram. That's what we show like everywhere. And when they come in and they feel immediately if it's authentic or not, and it is authentic, this is how we are as a team, and clients will feel it immediately, and that changes everything. Keep the energy high, because that's what they want from you.
So you mentioned that you're on this journey from servicing 4 clients a week, right, and make them feel competent, to 8 clients a week, which is a doubling of the business, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about that. That has to be a major challenge. I don't think I've ever had a business where we've doubled in size like that straight away. You know, it's been more a gradual growing.
Well, when we did 4 shoots a week, we were just fully booked for 4 to 5 months ahead. And I was like, that's not what I want to do. I want to do more shoots so I can serve more people. And then the mother of the studio said, well, I have another job. So that was more challenging. So we are just a little bit like sometimes stressed out, like, is everything okay? Is everything working properly? But we manage it because we are just being with each other. Well, this week is not that busy week, but next week and the week before this week and before that week, there were all 8 shoots a week. Yeah, so that's big. But we do 2 shoots a day, so it's 4 days.
Okay, so how has that changed? Has that changed? How do you keep the energy of the team alive now for 2 sessions a day, 2 clients a day versus 1 client a day? Was that a difficult thing to do?
No, because we don't photograph like for a long time. So it takes the shoot. Well, the makeup is like an hour, and then we do a shoot also for 45 minutes to an hour. And then we do the reveal immediately on a big screen. So people are here like 3.5 hours, something like that. And then most of the clients see each other. So when the one comes in and the other one goes home, and most of the time they are talking to each other and they're like, oh, it was so amazing and good luck. And that really helps us to get the energy high. But we have music on, we are just laughing, we make crazy comments, and that keeps the spirit alive, just to be normal and have enough laughs, because that is what everybody wants to see. They don't want to see, oh, they just had a shoot and now everything's done and we're like, hi. No, you cannot do this. The energy has to be high constantly.
Kristel,
yeah,
you are absolutely amazing and an inspiration. And I'm sharing a link, guys, if you want to reach out to Kristel. I'm sure you all do want to reach out to Kristel. I've just shared the link there just to connect with her, because as Kristel mentioned, she does have passion to help other photographers to learn from her and learn from what she's done, and, you know, to amplify that difference, to amplify that goal towards world peace, you know, to have people fully confident and loving themselves. Kristel, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It was really nice talking to you.
It's crazy to believe that a whole hour has gone by. It just feels like a wink of an eye that it's been done. We could talk all night. There's so much more that we could talk about. We'll have to have you back. Do you know what we'll have to do someday? We'll have to, because I know that there's so many of you guys connecting now, yourself and Wendy and others. We'll have to have a group discussion someday.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? That would be fun. That would be fun. So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Do reach out to Kristel. She's an amazing person. She's a massive heart. She's there. She really wants to help others in our industry to achieve what she's achieving too. Create a better world. That's right. Who's that? Is that? I can't read without my glasses. They're talking to us in the chat. Mario. Yes, that's it. For a better world. That's what we're about. That's the real difference and the power of our industry, is we can really change people's lives.
Yeah.
So stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much again, Kristel. We'll see you all again soon on these 3XM webinar series. And bye for now.
Okay. Bye.